Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. I almost said a completely different video game's name there. There was one more suggestion, to try to address the darkness inside interiors, and that was to turn off HDR, which, you know, high dynamic range is a newer concept in its current iteration, much newer than a 2009 2010 game like this should be able to accommodate. And so I'm wondering if what they are saying is HDR isn't more akin to just a computer screen space of higher colors, but not anywhere as high of a color screen space as you might expect from a 4K UHD Blu-ray disc that would be labeled as HDR. So I've disabled that. Running around this building, it still looks fairly dim. I have to say, it might be a little bit better. I did see the person that suggested that online to say that fixes some other visual glitches. So overall, maybe it's a smarter move. So if this looks any different, it's because I disabled HDR in the PC launcher function. It's not an actual setting in the pause menu. Now, there is also a point to be mentioned. I wonder if I should go to this dry lake or if this is just asking for trouble. It's almost certainly asking for trouble. I see, yeah, there's a bark scorpion over there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is exactly the kind of thing that would get me killed. It's just walking into it. That is my thought here, is that on the map, the way this is going to play out is that you're going to be asked to go to places via the road, and then you're probably just going to go in kind of a circle to New Vegas this way. And I don't really think the game is going to end there. I think there'll be more distractions than that, but maybe not. Maybe this is a much smaller experience than I would expect. But yeah, I have no clue how much the brightness will get mangled by YouTube itself. YouTube is pretty notorious for breaking down even brightly lit footage, particularly if you're watching it on a TV, and making it just impossible to see. I'm hearing musical sound effects, and I guess it's the rad scorpions coming to kill me. This is not a small rad scorpion, this is a large rad scorpion. Ooh. We've got some problems here. One, I'm out of bullets. That feels like that came out of nowhere. And two, I am not, I think, really doing any damage here. And I definitely don't think I am in a spot where it makes sense to Yeah. Really don't think I'm in a spot to find bullets out of nowhere or craft bullets out of nowhere. It definitely is a case where these are slower creatures. That is another thing that it's time to turn off. The fact that I have Fallout 4 to play also, and Metro games to play, and potentially would even want to possibly at some point want to play Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 4 a second time. All of that screams there needs to be a level of efficiency here. So it's time to turn off the kill cam mode. And I almost would have made an argument to get away from very easy, but I did just run out of bullets. So the game has switched from being too easy to being more of the experience that I was expecting I would have, which is lower on bullets. Nipton Road rest stop. I just turned off the kill cam, did I not? So why did I just get a kill cam? Inherently, this is a problem with this game. Yeah, kill cam mode none. Apparently does not mean kill cams go away. So who knows what that means. There's perhaps a limiting factor to these kinds of games that are based off of like Dungeons and Dragons experiences, in that if you were playing a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons experience, the dungeon master themselves would know it would take a while, and so there would be less of an encounter, I think. Let's go ahead and just drink a sunset sarsaparilla while we're at it. The weirdness on that, though, is sunset sarsaparillas are going to just be a item you eat. It's not going to be mapped to any buttons, which notably up, down, left, right on the D-pad on the controller seems to do absolutely nothing. New Canaan being mentioned here, and it's possible I missed a rad scorpion corpse. And I would assume that this is just a building you don't actually enter. From the looks of it. Yeah. I think that there is possibly an argument to say that because everything is more procedurally generated in Fallout games compared to a tabletop game, it starts to lose that balance and starts to have maybe one too many enemies. I would assume if you didn't have the cantina, you might be just drinking the sunset sarsaparillas all the time. That might make some sense too. Thought that was a snow globe. Pure Jerusalem Illustrated may actually be a book instead of a magazine. So I was rethinking also that we ran into that jackal gang, and I may very well have shot at them first because they were labeled in red via the Pip-Boy, which gives me an interesting comparison to make. Certainly there is this Mayor Stevens journal. You should read that. There's this anime called Psychopaths. It's relatively new, in the past decade or so. And one of the elements about it, it's not readable. Interesting. The main thing is all citizens are just constantly being scanned for their mental state and whether they are feeling violence effectively mentally, or that they might commit a crime. And in a funny way, that's exactly what this game does, is that it is apparently capable somehow, the Pip-Boy is, one assumes it's the Pip-Boy, or the heads-up display is capable of just determining your status and relationship to people and whether they're aggressive or not. Whereas if you were going to delve deeper into the role-playing game, you wouldn't be given that information. Not that I'm saying that it shouldn't exist in the game, by any means. The video game form of a role-playing game is obviously the baby's first role-playing game experience. You want things to be more automated, you want things to be more scripted. If you want to properly play a role-playing game where it's just a bunch of people sitting around talking out experiences and there's loose guidelines that a dungeon master is following, then that experience really has to happen in the real world, not within the limitations of a computer program, which can only do so much. And yeah, computer programs can be programmed to do quite a lot, but they can't be really programmed to just, at least so far, they can't be programmed to just go with the flow of creative thinking. Now, at some point, probably in the next 5 years, we are going to have people trying to make some kind of AI generated dungeon master game where whatever you say verbally to the game or type in will just be parsed and turned into text. This is funny. I feel like I'm going the wrong way. I mean, I totally am. I'm going towards this Mojave outpost. And we might as well just get distracted. There's really no reason not to. We have... That's interesting. The nuts are in bunches. Have kind of foods being delivered on top of a whole bunch of Nuka-Colas. I assume the reason why so many animals are aggressive in this world is that any animal that would be a plant eater would have had to evolve or die because the nukes would have killed most plants, or they would have gotten eaten by meat-eating aggressive creatures that would have thrived, I assume, eating the bones and whatever wasn't burnt flesh off of people dying of radiation from secondary exposure from the nuclear fallout. But it all does kind of have this feeling, certainly, where there is not really enough changed since the fallout happened. And that would only make sense if 100% of the people in Fallout were in vaults, or descendants of people were vaults, which is just not how they tell the story. They tell the story that there were survivors and surface dwellers after the bombs fell. And, well, that should have led to some higher level of change than what we really see as far as just cars being left. I could kind of understand cars being left, but yeah, the only way it gets explained to look like this, other than the fact that the video game wants to look like this, would be that technology would have been just turned back to the point where they are struggling day to day to just feed themselves, which that seems to be the way they're explaining it. But then that falls afoul of the fact that you have still robots wandering around. But noticeably, the robots, none of them are like farming robots or construction robots. They are fairly useless in their designs. Now, maybe that's just because nobody ever bothered to invent farming robots or program farming robots. And I guess Fallout 4 starts to address that more. And you just have this giant steel statue. Now, in New Vegas, you see this character that is in a gas mask and a coat a lot, and I'm not sure if that is supposed to be the bad guy of the story or if that's supposed to be the player character. I think it might be the player character. In the year 2271, the Desert Rangers of Nevada and the Rangers of the New California Republic met at this spot to sign the Ranger Unification Treaty. Under this treaty, the Desert Rangers agreed to be absorbed into the NCR in exchange for NCR's protection of Hoover Dam, New Vegas, and southern Nevada against the forces of Caesar's Legion. So, there were Desert Rangers at some point. So this is another city, which may lead to some other thing. Now this is also kind of a great example of why would somebody waste their time and energy building these statues.
Coming from the north? Must be crazy to brave those roads. Outpost. Mojave Outpost. Watching a lot of nothing feels like a big Brahmin pen for caravans. They've been stopped for a while, waiting for the roads north to clear, or their clearance papers to go through. Looks like you've walked away, so if you need to shake the dust off, head to the barracks at the bars there. Not much, but better than nothing. Nothing I know of. But if you've come from the north, means you can travel freer than most around here. Might check the barracks, someone might need you to hoof it somewhere. Just be careful you go up on the roof. Got a sniper watching the road. If your gear's in need of repair, HQ's also worth checking out. Talk to Major Knight, he can help. Provided you got a pen and plenty of ink. Those two represents unification. Mostly good for shade. Won't do much else when the Legion reaches us. Watch yourself.
So we have some backstory dialogue there. And this may just be a city that isn't going to really prove to be very helpful or give us too many quests at the moment, because we are just not following the main story. So these are like spotlights. They look broken. Let's see what this girl says.
Prim has a new sheriff. That should keep the powder gangers away.
So they're now talking about the fact that we got the new sheriff in the form of a robot. Here we have the two-headed Brahmin. We get to see those. We'll just wake this person up immediately and see if they will actually trade with us.
Hey there, need anything?
Interesting, he pulls
Sure,
the gun
here's
on
what
you.
I got.
So we got plenty of caps. So we should just do this. Here we have a fairly expensive laser beam rifle. So money is going to play a much bigger role in this game than I feel like it did in Fallout 3, where it felt like even a few packs would have been useful. Let's see. Ammo first. Yeah. I'm not seeing really any 9mm bullets here, though. So if I'm gonna try and buy all these bullets, then I'm gonna have to sell quite a lot. There's a good news there, is I guess we probably do have some opportunities here to sell a decent amount. I'd like to keep a BB gun, but it's not realistic. We will sell the dynamite. Sell that. I probably should have been using the varmint rifle on the rad scorpions earlier. I'm not really trying to do anything amazing with bartering, so let's see. These are very useless, so you don't want to sell those. Probably won't be using Stealth Boy. Yeah, we don't need to keep purified water at the moment. Drugs we can get rid of. Anything that takes any weight. I probably should have read Salesman Weekly before doing all this. Some of these things you kind of want the bare minimum of. But yeah, I'm selling a bunch of things that didn't have weight on them anyways. By by selling aid. Yeah. Red scorpion poison glands. I want to hold on to that. Pre-war money. We'll sell that. Mantis forelegs. We'll sell that. A lot of these don't have values at all. Okay. So then what this is going to come down to is I'm going to have to not buy as much. Which just don't buy the mini nukes, for instance. Yeah, that's really the right move. Is okay, so there's a little bit of things I should buy back, probably. Yeah, and I don't want to waste too much time on it, so we'll just make that trade. And that Brahmin, I imagine, is part of the traveling traders character path. They usually have a pack Brahmin. And see, that's the reason why I guess there hasn't been major reconstructions, is that you just have these two-headed cows as pack mules carrying items back and forth. It's the roads are not paved, the roads are not clear.
Prima's a new sheriff. That should keep the powder gangers away.
Okay.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
So they said go by the roof.
You a courier? If so, this might be your lucky day. If you don't mind walking a bit, and your eyes are good.
She's called a ghost. She looks very pale.
I think there's trouble in Nipton. No traffic from there on the roads. While I can explain that away, the smoke
She
from the
sounds
town
very
can't.
echoey.
I'm sure it's been hit. What I need to know is if they survived it. Might be powder gangers with all that smoke in the air. If there's anybody left, they'd be in the Nipton Town Hall. Go there. Check it out. Let me know what you find. All right. Look at you. All fired up and ready to go. Wish the others around here had that kind of attitude. Listen, I don't want you getting killed for this. So if you head there and run into trouble, I'm asking for eyes and ears, not your life. All right? Not much to tell. One of the worst posts in the NCR if you're looking to be anything more than a babysitter. Full up here, but just enough so we can't send out patrols. Gotta maintain a standing force. Jackson's orders. NCR's orders. Can't spare men for patrols or escorts, so caravans are backing up here like a Brahmin with a bottle in its ass. Typical NCR bullshit. Kimball's Kimball. Not sure which end is his ass or his head. Caravan families are causing trouble. Big circle getting tense. The usual. Look, you want gossip, go to the bar downstairs and listen to a whole lot of nothing. Me? I gotta keep watch, then fill out the daily log.
I have no idea how somebody
Mind
could be
yourself
so
on the plate
pale.
going down.
Yeah, no clue how somebody could be so pale in the Mojave Desert. So, the game is very obviously pushing us as far as quests. So, it's kind of, regardless of what you do or where you go, you are going to be asked to move down to Nipton. And so, I think, had I even just tried to work my way to this city, Sloan, well, there is the correctional facility. And there's Prim, so I'm going the wrong direction anyways. So, yeah. Let's investigate this area, then let's fast travel, say, to this Powder Gang Camp West, and if we can. Do some shootouts, do that, and see if we can even get to Sloan. But my thought is if you walk up to the gates of New Vegas, it is just going to tell you you need some amount of money or something. Maybe you can even just get in New Vegas, but you wouldn't be able to really do anything. My thought is it's going to be probably pretty dangerous either from this point to this point or from this point to this point. Far too dangerous. I do also want to check out this area while we're here, but there is still definitely a feeling like this whole game is just going to have you go in circles multiple times. That may not be a terrible thing, really. See, now this looks to me like this is a playing card. So you would think you could pick it up. But no, you can't. And then there's just a whole bunch of empty boxes. I feel like it's probably all empty boxes. And that might be a great example of just too much set decoration and for a game. If it's just going to be a pointless waste of time to have people walk to a corner of an area looking for something when there's nothing there. You would like there to be something there, but unless it was just going to be an occasional bottle cap. So Rangers may be just like the closest thing that we have to Brotherhood of Steel in New Vegas. And she has a unique logo on her arm. Well, can we look at it without her turning to face us? No.
New face in the outpost. Must have come from the north. So, what do you have?
Now, since these are named characters, I assume they would always be female, and that they're not just giving you more female characters because you're playing as a female character. Random named characters, probably you're getting a bump there where there's more female enemies. It definitely felt like that in Fallout 3, where if you had played as a male character, you probably would have run into 99% male random enemies. And even playing as a female character in Fallout 3, you still ended up seeing roughly 70 to 80% male enemies randomly
Work around
generated.
here? Might check with Jackson in the main building, or Ghost up on the roof above, but watch out. She's kind of a bitch. Don't tell her I said that, though. Might take a bullet some night when I'm going to the latrine.
Again, the weird, let's throw
Not
in a
too
cuss
much.
word.
A lot of caravans going nowhere. A lot of troopers going nowhere, too. Few prospectors here and there, but they don't do more than stink up the place. Everybody's backed up here. You'd think it'd be good for business, but most of the traders are tight with the caps, even the larger caravan outfits.
So I don't think we have
Take a look.
enough cards to play. I have no idea how these decks really work. We will buy all the 9mm rounds so we can go back to using 9mm. We should probably sort through all of this. Yeah, and then there's just gonna be a weirdness with the sunset sarsaparillas. I don't know how I'm gonna really account for that, to just have a whole bunch of sunset sarsaparillas when I would need to just like drink them all the time. 10mm, 9mm pistol. I did see some throwing spears on sale, so I think it probably makes some sense to sell that. A weathered 10mm pistol here does 16 damage. What does my regular one do? 13 damage. So we'll sell that. That sold for quite a lot. 754. Well, it uses 10mm. It does 30. This one does 38 damage per second. This one does 47 damage per second. So I should probably take that one and sell that one then. And then miscellaneous stuff I think we've mostly gotten rid of. And we don't know about this journal. We're probably going to recognize that is connected to some other element. We will sell Rad-X. We will sell Rebound. We could sell stim packs. Probably don't need that many weapon repair kits. There is that possibility that anything I sell here may prove to be something that's really, really difficult to replace, or it might be even a one-time DLC item. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and just sell half of my stim packs, and seems like we could probably sell a couple more. Yeah. So that's almost every cap she has. It gets us at a very high level.
What, caravan? Alright, I'll give it a go. Haven't exactly got much of a line of folks to serve.
Yeah, unfortunately we still don't have enough cards.
Hey there. Prim has a new sheriff. That should keep the powder gangers away.
So it's the same lines of dialogue. Here's a
Looking
character.
for trouble? Well, keep those eyes up and turning, or I'll set 'em spinning. Got no time for gawkers, or anyone looking for something I ain't selling. How about a drink? How about a couple is what you mean. Drinking to forget, and it's only getting me mad instead. Whiskey always gets my temper up, now more than ever. Drinking used to cause all sorts of trouble back west. Before I punched enough people, that is. And they learned to lay low when the whiskey hit.
So we have an actual dialogue tree here that we're going to have to navigate.
Lost my caravan heading north. The driver burned to ash. And they didn't even take the cargo, they just burned that too. My guess is Legion. They're trying to cut NCR's supply line, and the Mojave outpost is proof. Got us locked up tighter than a New Vegas virgin. No caravans in, out, and just try arguing with Jackson about it. Roads aren't safe, he says. No shit, you washed out old fuck up. I didn't need a Brotherhood scribe to tell me that.
So they mentioned the Brotherhood. A lot of these phrases are interesting lines of jokes here.
NCR officer, trooper, whatever, runs the place. He's over in the main building, the one without a bar. Jackson won't let me head north. It's not safe. And even though my caravan's gone, my caravan papers are keeping me here. So if you came here for work, my advice, go find the Crimson Caravan branch south of Vegas. They can help you out. What's on your mind? You're looking at it. It's a watering hole without much to brag about. It's like a Brahmin drive gone wrong. Supposed to be a gate north, but you come here, you get caught in the pen. Better to head back home. If you don't have a gun and a will, don't matter much what you do when you reach here, except stare at that fucking monument outside.
So here's an interesting question. Is it better to occasionally have a character just sit at the bar and stay there and then look at you side-eye? Or is it better to have the game very arbitrarily have all characters turn and face you directly face on? I imagine better would be to have a whole wide range in between also. But yeah, this is odd that she's looking at you side-eye, but it is also odd that everybody just faces you at a perfect 90-degree angle, 0-degree angle, looking at you dead on.
Don't even tell me you missed it coming in. It's like NCR showing its dick to all the East. If the Republic put as much effort into protecting the East as they put into those two asinine giants outside, then they'd be worth that monument. Statues of two men shaking hands covered in blood. Don't seem to be nothing to brag about. I'm speaking figurative. Isn't any blood on their damn hands. Of course, when Caesar comes walking through here, there'll be blood for real. And after the blood dries in the sun, he'll melt that piece of jet-induced sculpture down and reshape it into a bull, which by my reckoning is making up for a deficiency of his. But no matter what the state of his pecker, he's sure giving the West a good fucking. One's a ranger, one's an NCR trooper, supposed to represent unification of West and East, or some such shit. As far as those two iron lovebirds go, they've got more spine you'll see in a year from the NCR government.
So
You take care now.
we have that dialogue that has given us a new quest, and it has not changed our main quest, which that is interesting as far as whether they decide to change the main quest or not. Sometimes it seems like they do, sometimes it seems like they don't. My suspicion would be it changes the main quest if you happen to be on the default story progressing quest to distract you and have you go in different directions. This is another example of a city that doesn't seem that big, but you could just run around here stealing things and shooting people, and you could just be the bad guy and clear it out. It'd be a weird experience, I would say, if you just wanted to be the terror of New Vegas and run around and kill everybody without even talking to them. There's almost certainly going to be some storyline that would be lost, and probably several quest lines that would be lost if you did play that way. It is a concept for a role-playing game that only makes sense really on the second playthrough, or if you really just do not care at all. And typically, if you were a character like that at a tabletop game, I think you would be uninvited very quickly if you were playing a Dungeons and Dragons style game, tabletop game, and you were just recklessly trying to kill everybody. That being said, a dungeon master also wouldn't allow for that, where the game itself is programmed to allow for that. So here we have Major Knight, another very pale-looking character. I'm a courier.
Just need something for the logbook, keeping tabs on traffic throughout the outpost. Well, mostly just in, not out these days. If you're looking for the commanding officer, he's in the back. Although, he's got a lot on his plate, so if you speak with him, keep it short. Also, if you need any gear checked, we can get you up and running again. Once you fill out the work orders and sign for the parts, of course. Help? Oh, well, you could speak to Ranger Jackson. He might have something for you. He sort of runs things around here. Mostly ends up sending reports back west that aren't filled with the best news.
It probably would make some sense to have the radios go quiet, or at least dim down when people are talking to you. I don't feel like they are overwhelming, but
me? I'm Knight.
They are noticeable
I've been stuck
as just a
here dealing
distraction.
with these caravans for ages now, but somebody's got to do it. It ain't so bad. If Caesar's Legion decides to push west through Nipton, old Mojave outpost here will be the front line. NCR border guard duty mostly. It's our job to make sure the caravans can move safely along I-15 and Highway 95. Not the best posting or assignment, but it beats being sent east or patrolling the Colorado. Legion's pretty thick there. Alright then, just sign here, here, and here.
Okay. So I guess this is where things are going to start to... money's gonna start to be spent. And more than likely, I am never going to actually repair anything spending caps, because my repair skill itself is just something I'm going to build up, and I'll get experience repairing things. But yeah, if I did want to just repair everything I had right now, it would cost 3,846 caps. I only have 2,782. Yeah, everything does seem just at a different scale compared to Fallout 3 here. And I'm not willing to just steal the Sunset Sarsaparillas. Like, one of the problems with Fallout games that seemingly they probably will never fix, because what I think are problems are probably what they think make Fallout games is the karma system. Like, I think the karma system here needs to be dumbed down quite a bit, to the point where stealing things is not a permanent penalty, but maybe
The Mojave almost makes you wish for a
just
winner.
look at that mustache. Maybe just causes some people to be angry at you a little bit if they see you steal. But if nobody sees you steal, it feels like you should just get away with it with no penalty.
Road north has gone to hell, and if I let a caravan through, they won't make it. Soldiers, no. Recruits, yes. And the Mojave outpost has been ordered to have a standing force at the NCR perimeter at all times. So sending anyone out reduces the outpost's numbers, and would be in direct violation of my orders from back west. Sending more troops, yes. To reinforce the outpost, no. Troops head through here on their way to McCarran, or to the front lines at Forlorn Hope. Or they're on leave, on their way to New Vegas to piss away their pay. All of them passing through.
So we get a new marker from doing all this talking, but we really haven't done a lot of shooting in this episode, have we?
Frustrated? No, I have my orders. Signed and approved all the way up the chain from Kimball. And I understand the reasons. The outpost isn't a Legion target, yet. Not like Vegas or the Dam. But if the caravans get choked here, That's gonna bite NCR hard. Anyway, didn't mean to talk your ear off. Some days, just feel like more requisition forms and daily reports come across my desk than results. Help? Now look, I appreciate... you know what? Yes, I could use the help. You look like you can handle yourself. I need to get the caravans moving again. That means clearing a path north. There's too much crawling the asphalt up the road to allow it. Thanks, I appreciate it. Come back here when you're done. I might accidentally lose some supplies to pay you with.
So we have a quest now. Can you find it in your heart?
We won't go quiet.
Clear out the critters on the road to Evampa Lake. Yeah. Clearly, if you were going to... Let's see what happens if you activate the ham radio. Nothing.
The Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Yeah, those ham radios, I don't think they did enough in Fallout 3 either. There may have been some kind of trick to it, but
Evening.
there was too many of them for that trick. If I recall correctly, there may not have even been a trick to it. Okay. So I think move here is to, let's see, well, first on marker, place marker, we'll just remove the marker so we know where we're going, and then items, and then weather 10mm pistol, police car. So what I want to see here is there actually a way to even go this way? No. So yeah, this section probably leads to a fast travel to a DLC section that is completely unconnected to the New Vegas map, if it does even that. So we don't have anything more we can really do with this outpost. So the move normally would have been to fast travel. And so this is Interstate 15. It would have been to fast travel down through this whole section, back to, let's see, let's show it on the map. We would have just fast traveled to this section and dealt with that, but you know, it might just be worth it to do the whole walk and see if that respawns a few more people to fight. We are looking for as many encounters as possible. The more we can fight, the more we can grind, the quicker we can get perks, the quicker we can get to a more interesting play style. Which inherently does highlight how a New Game Plus experience of this, just potentially cheating a bit and getting a save file, if this game even has New Game Plus, if there was a second playthrough play style save file you could get and start that way, that might be more interesting to just have the characters at the max level and just have a lot of perks and abilities unlocked. Let's see. Have a giant soldier ant. Then we have a worker ant. Pretty obvious that you should use bats. It is really like a 4-to-1 ratio as far as just how many bullets you would use. We have leveled up, but we are not safe. So it is an interesting question, certainly, as far as whether or not you're doing more damage if you were to shoot somebody in the head or not. Okay. Let's see. Bartering at this point still doesn't feel useful. We could put 1 point into this. We'd like to get lockpick up. We probably don't need medicine up. We want to get science up. Speech getting to 50 at some point also would make some sense. So let's say if we were to do 40 here, and then 30 there. Like repair is already at 50. Feels pretty good. And 35 probably is a better balance. And I believe there are more ants to kill. Ants are not new. Yeah, I suspect you probably are killing and doing more damage. Okay. That is definitely my thought, is that you probably are doing more damage. Go ahead and just fast travel to the Mojave outpost, which loading is pretty quick in this game on modern hardware, but that was not instantaneous, to say the least. And maybe I should have been using the varmint rifle again.
Hello.
See if this gets us a decent amount of experience for turning in a quest.
Appreciate the help. Wish I had more work for you, but nothing else on the radar at the moment.
100 XP. Can you find it in your heart? I'm not sure the meaning of that.
No, I mentioned you might accidentally get supplied, and I meant it. Not allowed to contract mercenaries at the outpost. Still, a requisition form or two can get lost, and they're not gonna come check. So here you go, just between us.
we've gotten a service rifle and some armor piercing and caravan lanches and weapons repairs and 100 bottle caps. So that's a pretty good reward. Now, I'm pretty sure you can't fast travel inside a building. That would kind of break logic. Alright, so these powder gangers noticeably are green, so the Pip-Boy does not consider them threats. We'll just go see what they want to say. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Let's drink some sunset sarsaparillas. And then, as far as limbs go, stim pack. And let's just be a little bit more careful, I guess.
Never gets old when something blows up. You're not exactly making friends around here, are you?
So these are just like the powder gangers, but I don't have a quest at the moment to kill them. And they're not shooting me either, so it would seem
Prim's got some new sheriff
rude.
watching over the town now.
Okay, so off we go, I guess, to the correctional facility. I do see that there's something. Just a bloatfly. You know what? Let's see what that weapon is. Varmint rifle uses different bullets. And so it may just be a case where the right bullet for the right gun for the right enemy. Yeah. And as far as I can tell, turning off the kill cam only stops it from happening when you are not using VATS. VATS seems to override the kill cam. And so pretty quickly I could see some mods that you might want. Interior lighting improvement being number one, and just textures being improved being number two. Although, in fairness to that, to the original game, improving the textures in this game would only be minor improvements. This game looks fine in its current state. The pop-in level of detail is an issue. That's been an issue for games fairly consistently. But at least more modern games have it where things get lower quality at a distance. Oh, here's a railroad. Instead of just popping in completely. I think we're going to have to kind of curve around this railroad to reach our goal.
Damn, running low on smokes again.
It's funny that they're not more angry at me. I've definitely killed enough of them already. So that does give me the feeling that this entire correctional facility is just going to be a city. And I was thinking it would be closer to a single building, but no, it is a city with multiple buildings and a big fence. Black Mountain radio signal found, if we wanted to deal with any of that. Dawes. Let's go talk to Dawes. Let's go ahead and also... I guess time does stop when you get into the menu, because the gate stopped opening.
Hey there, girly. You here to party with the powder gangers?
Let's see.
This is, or was, the Big House. New California Republic Correctional Facility. Not much correcting went on here, just slave labor. One day, us prisoners decided to liberate ourselves. Killed the warden, killed the guards, took over the whole damn territory.
You know, fighting for your freedom might be considered admirable. Then running around and throwing TNT at people and trying to take over larger swaths of territory in other cities, not so much.
That'll be Eddie. You can usually find him sitting in the warden's old chair up in the main building. That's us. We got sent here to fix the rails and make some new ones. And for that, we got to use dynamite. Of course, dynamite works pretty good against caravan guards, too. So, that's what we do. Rob and blow things up.
No bigger ideals than that.
Me? I ran with the toughest gang in the hub. You've heard of the hub, right? It's, west of here, I think. Back in California.
Now, interesting, I don't think the hub was really mentioned in the Fallout TV series, and it's set in California, but not everything is going to be mentioned. And I think the Fallout TV series is set several years before the events of this game.
We've got the biggest, baddest fort in the wasteland. There's water and power, and if we need grub, we just go out and steal it.
So they're just going to let me go in?
Well, I don't know. Depends on if you can make it worth my time. 100 caps sounds right to me.
So, he wants caps. We don't have a speech choice.
Alright, you can go on in. Can't guarantee your safety, though. Just saying.
That's a pretty obvious example where a speech
whatever.
choice would have potentially been nice.
Prim's got some new sheriff watching over the town now.
This is an interesting shirtless guy. Although, this is probably way more realistic as to what you would be wearing, at least inside a building outside of the exposure of the wind and the sun. You would half expect. And see, this is an interesting question, is if I stole something here, who would care?
Didn't know anyone would willingly walk into this place. Not unless they were looking for trouble. What's your story? I was a sheriff, believe it or not, for a small town far to the west of here. Short version is that sometimes justice is a little slow. I helped speed it up one too many times. I'm not sorry for anything I did, but I will do the time. Fair enough trade if you ask me. I understand that Cook was behind it all. I kept my head down the whole time. Didn't want any part of it. I stuck around, figuring the NCR would show up and put things back the way they were. No sense in making myself look guilty, right? Some kind of anti-NCR rebel. Some people just don't like being pushed around and told what to do. He went north with some of the other guys. Didn't say where. Didn't say why. All I know is he's got some kind of score to settle with the NCR. I'm not quite sure the kind of greeting NCR troopers will give an escaped con like myself. Figure it's better to stay put for now. Right now, Eddie and his boys run the
So we're
place.
getting a lot of
They've got
names
the
and a lot
guns
of
and the
characters.
dynamite, so they call the shots. Watch yourself out there.
A lot of story here, when I was really expecting this would just be a dungeon where you'd run and shoot people.
You eyeballing me?
It is interesting to have a prison section that noticeably, of like all the general video game locations that you could have had in a Fallout game, Fallout 3 did noticeably miss having a jail. Okay. Is there anything we can do? Energy cell overcharge. We can apparently do that. So let's go ahead and do that. That probably increased the value of things. And then the science is high enough now to recycle energy cells, taking drained energy cells. Let's do that. And then we can overcharge those energy cells. Then we can recycle flamer fuel. I'm hearing a dog bark and I'm not sure if that's actually outside my house or in the game. Let me pause for a second. Oh, that straight up is outside my house. It's probably my neighbor's dog. But yeah. Okay. We've been going along enough, and I think this is probably the appropriate time to end. We're going to want to run around here and see what quests we can do, and we may even want to go up here. Then it will just be moving the Nipton. It does kind of feel like we are kind of speed running the game, and that's... oh, there's something new. And that's probably fine. I've often thought that a lot of games like this probably need to be modded heavily and remastered or remade into more of a Cliff Notes abridged form factor, where the experience is no longer that 60 to 200 hour potential experience that you would have had when the game was brand new. Because there's just so many games these days, it's a really heavy commitment to play an older game if it's going to take up as much time as they used to. There was a lot less games back in the day to play, so now we don't have that same amount of free time to play everything. It's also probably worth pointing out that I have not unlocked any achievements lately, but I'm clearly learning the systems and working up towards unlocking a couple more achievements. And every achievement seems to be craft 100 items, kill 100 insects, things like that. So that implies to me that you probably can get all the way through the game and get all the achievements. Except for maybe there's a hardcore achievement, which, yeah, I don't know about that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.